Hello, everybody. I'm Don Counts. Welcome to Fayetteville Public Utility Studio. We have our CEO General Manager with the monthly report. And Britt, we've had a really busy month. One thing I'd like to start out by talking a little bit about is Governor Lee has appointed you as to the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulations. So tell us a little bit about that. When does this take place, and what's that involve?
Well, what it involves is where you sit on the board with a bunch of other board members, and you talk about systems that's in distress and financial needs and those kinds of things. And then they go through a step process if you end up merging as well. So it's a lot more to it than what I'm talking about this morning. I look at it as a great opportunity for me to be able to do this, and I appreciate Governor Lee putting me on this board and look forward to serving.
Well, you have been involved in consolidation of utilities. Are you saying that you're seeing more of that around the state?
Yes, and the reason being is a lot of these systems nowadays, it's hard to find good people to take the older generation that's retiring out, and these smaller systems, like there's some places get 4 or 5 systems in one area, and they're trying to merge and make it a better way to operate and those kinds of things.
Back years ago, you'd hear of utilities and companies who would offer early outs, but when you can't find young people, you can't offer an early out for somebody.
And that's right, and it's like I said, is you always go through these groups of people retiring. Just like on the electric side, there will be a group of 8, 10 managers that all be retiring at the same time. It's the same way as far as your employees, is the ones that do the testing and all that. They get to a certain age and ready to go, then you'll go through a big group that's getting ready to retire. So you just can't find enough people that want to do that type of work that's got the knowledge and the expertise to be able to make it happen.
And then another thing, being competitive, keeping employees, which you deal with all the time. But one thing, too, to be a lineman, it takes quite a few years. You might talk about that.
Well, it takes anywhere from 7 to 9 years to be a journeyman lineman, and then, the whole time that you're working in that field, you're still learning. But it's the same way in your water and wastewater of those folks learning. It's just like for the plants, you got to keep going through testing, be certified operators, and it's almost like a chemist degree that you had to have be a water certified operator. The same thing on the wastewater side, and we're just lucky enough that we got the employees that are dedicated enough to learn to be able to do that type of work.
Well, you're very knowledgeable of the situation, and this appointment's effective immediately, which is interesting, and it runs through June 30th of 2026, and so this supports natural gas, water, wastewater, and a public utility system, and that's a really good thing. And then also being financially self-supporting, which we've done a really good job of being there.
Well, we were lucky back, when that started in 2017. Actually, it was a little while after consolidation, but then we started making some very, very positive improvements on the water and wastewater side. And you can see and hear, and we're always trying to improve the system, but that's what happens over a period of time, that if you don't take care of business, it'll catch up with you sooner or later, and that's what we're facing now. And we still got a lot of improvements to make. We got a $30 million project coming up that the city board, mayor, and alderman were gracious enough to pass it to, for us to be able to do this, because it's got to be done.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you, and I'm sure you're going to be a big asset to the board for sure. As we move on, FPU is taking a leading role in employee safety, something you talk about every day, to talk to all the guys. I'm sure you deal with that virtually every day, but the Rural Electric Safety Achievement Program, as well as the Zero Contacts Initiative, that's something we did. I know we did the Zero Contacts a few years ago, so talk a little bit about those programs.
Well, the Zero Contacts is where everybody's determined to not have a contact. We try to do that every day. We don't want anybody to have a contact. But, now with the second phase of that, it was more in depth. Interviewed the line crew, the operation folks. They took a survey this time and told what they need, what they didn't need. Sat down and had a meeting with the foremen and supervisors to see what needs to take place. That sometimes you don't know,
right,
until you get really down to the nuts and bolts about what is it that you need.
Right.
I mean, everybody wants everything, but what do you need to do your job safely? And that's what we try to provide in all departments, of what they need to do their job safely.
Yeah, one thing that you think about is, for example, when your guys, whether it be line crew or whatever, gas or water, they don't cut the power off or the gas off to work on it. You think they would, but if they did that, people's power would be out. So you got to keep factories running and that kind of thing. So in other words, they're working it hot. In other words, they're up there working while the electricity. So zero contacts is very important.
It is, and we try not to have any outages when we do work. If it's routine maintenance or anything like that. But sometimes it becomes where you got to have an outage. And I know that we'll be coming up again. The outage that we were planning to have a while back, it's going to come back up again, where we're going to have to make plans to do it, because we got a set of switches we got to open, and we can't open it under load. We can't take that chance. We don't want to burn up $1,000 worth of equipment. If you have a 5 or 10 minute outage to do what you need to get done, and that's about what it's going to take to get it done. And we'll get those areas narrowed down to where we'll have a better idea, because we can't say what is going to stop at your house, right, because everything don't work like that.
Right.
But but it's the same thing on the water and wastewater and the gas, because sometimes high pressure gas, we might have to cut it off to get some repairs done. Water, especially if the pressure's too high, we've got to cut the water off. We had a guy that went underwater the other day to put a clamp on to keep from cutting the water off, and it's all dangerous work. But we try not to have it where we interrupt service, but sometimes we got to interrupt service to be safe. We can't take the responsibility of getting somebody hurt when you can prevent it.
Yeah, well, it's amazing that they can work on this stuff while it's running, but they do, and that's a good thing. Well, FPU is one of the first utilities in the state of Tennessee to participate in this and pass this phase. So I know you're proud of that, and it takes a lot of work and dedication with your guys to make that happen, and a lot of safety meetings and things like that. And so good for that. One thing too, you've been dealing with, I guess half your line crew probably gone. I don't know how many total, but we've had quite a few going to Mountain Electric Corporation, and which serves East Tennessee. You might talk, and West North Carolina. Talk a little bit about what our guys did over there to help restoration of Hurricane Helene.
Well, we always go on a trip like that to help our neighbors, but this was something a little different. It's not the point where you was trying to restore power. It ended up being a rebuilding, and because most of their infrastructure was washed off the mountains and caused a lot of problems. Then all the creeks and the rivers that got out, it got to where you couldn't get up there to get the power back on or to set the poles. We ended up having to take track hose and everything else to dig hose to get us up the mountains, and something very, very different for our folks. And they did a fantastic job. All we've been hearing is good things from over there. We had one crew that worked 2 weeks. We had another crew that worked another 2 weeks and a day, I think it was. And, it's good that we got volunteers as dedicated employees that wants to go in situations like that to help rebuild and restore power.
Absolutely. And we also helped in other ways. We actually sent some food up there as well. We actually put the word out one day around 11 o'clock, and by 1 o'clock we had tons of food here, and then we got, I don't know how much we sent. Yeah,
we had good support from the community that helped us get that done. I think we carried a whole tractor trailer truck one day, then a half trailer truck next day, plus we took a big flatbed trailer of water. And they're still in bad need for things up there, and it's going to be a long time before everything is ever back normal, if it gets back normal.
Yeah, well, our guys are all back now and safe at home, and we're proud of that for sure. Let's talk about our Community Care Fund. TVA partnered again with the Community Care Fund. This year we combined contribution of $20,000 that was awarded to the Friends of the Fayetteville-Lincoln County Veterans Incorporated, and we honored to have the veterans come in here. We had our picture made, and we had breakfast this past month.
Yeah, we was glad to do that for the veterans, and we had a lot of help of getting that together, and it turned out really, really well. And we found out one thing for sure: they like bacon, and because we cooked a lot of bacon, and I don't believe there was anything as far as bacon, but we were really, really proud to have the opportunity to participate in something like that for the veterans here in Lincoln County.
Absolutely, and So we'll be seeing more about that. And it was already been in the paper about the 20,000, but we're going to have another picture in there this coming week. And also, we are going to be closed on Veterans Day this year. The first time that's happened. This is a new thing, but it's a good thing to honor the veterans this way, which will be Monday, November the 11th, and then we'll talk about a little bit about that a little later. Day of Service, FPU and TVA in conjunction with the Tennessee Electric Corporation worked with the Day of Service this year. Sleep in Heavenly Peace. You might talk a little bit about what was involved there.
Well, we had a little better than 50 employees that participated again, that volunteered, that wanted to do this, and we built 50 beds, I believe, and it's amazing of how you can set up a line of workers to accomplish each little piece of that bed, and then at the end of the day, you've got these beds made for these people that live in Lincoln County, and you'll be surprised at how many people do not have a bed.
That's right.
And, it just makes you really, really feel good, and something that you're giving back again to the community of helping with Miss Hudson down there. She does a fabulous job in what she does, and we're always proud to be in a situation where we can help her out.
Absolutely. Tina Hudson of Sleep in Heavenly Peace, we basically took over Easy Street here in town, and again, when you think about 50 people building bits and pieces of a bed, it was a much bigger process than you'd think, and it made you feel good at the end of the day that you're actually helping young people have a good, comfortable night's rest.
That's correct. And, when you got that assembly line going, and I think we got it all done with a little bit under 2 hours, I think, putting 50 beds, and,
yep.
We was moving on pretty good.
Yep. Well, we hope this really helps Tina Hudson with Hands of Mercy, and this is Sleep in Heavenly Peace, a very good program, and we're proud to be a part of that through our Day of Service with TECA. Breast cancer awareness, of course, this is November 1st, but the past month our guys have been wearing pink hard hats and our lapel pins here in the office. We do that every year. We've had a lot of nice comments on Facebook and supporting that, and I know it makes you proud.
It does, and we started that back several years ago when we had an employee that lost a daughter to breast cancer, and we've had some others to have that experience as far as being treated for breast cancer, and we felt like it was a good thing to show the community, to make everybody aware and get checked out like you need to, and we're here to support that as well, and the community also helps us on that too.
Absolutely. Harvest of Hope food drive. It starts today. Actually, we got food yesterday.
We did.
Before it started, and that's good. And so we appreciate that. It ends December 31st. You can bring canned or non-perishable food items to our lobbies. We have boxes set up there. You can do that there. Food is going to be donated to Good Samaritan Association of Lincoln County, and this is a good program. It's been going on longer than I've been here, and I know you're proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, we've done it for a long time, and, when you get ready to bring food in, just come into the main lobby, or you drive around the back, actually, but that way we can box it up over here in the main lobby, and we get it over to the warehouse, and once we get a load full, we'll take it where it needs to go, and we appreciate everybody's support and helping us get that done, too.
It's a big operation here to get it to where it needs to be, get it stacked correctly as we move it to Good Samaritan, and we appreciate you allowing us to do that. So again, feel free to bring your foods by our offices, and we will be glad to get those to where they need to be. Our Student Utility Board recently met. Student Utility Board consists of 3 students from Lincoln County High School, 3 from the city, and 1 from Riverside Christian Academy. This is a good program, and this last one was about administration, so they got to see what goes on in the customer service area and engineering departments. So they got to see one-on-one situations with customers.
It's really good, and we have some that participate in what we do for the community, and they were just really, really good of helping us do the bed building, and they got to brand the beds as well, and stain beds and sand beds, and it says a lot for them to have that type of experience of what it takes to give back to the community, and they were all tickled to get to be able to participate with us in doing that, and we really appreciate their help.
The Student Utility Board was started in 2010, and as Brett mentioned there, they not only come here once a month, they also participate in all the things that we're involved in throughout the year, and it gives them a fresh, truer perspective of what happens at a utility company than maybe what the public thinks.
Well, you'll see some of their comments on the evaluations that they do, and they didn't know that we did this, and they didn't know we did that, and this opens their eyes a little bit, and hope they spread the word when they get home to the parents and all those folks as well, and it helps us out to be able to educate them to know what goes on at FPU.
Absolutely. They get to see things that most public do not get to see in a year, and it's a good opportunity for them. And we mention every month there's a couple opportunities where you've actually hired some of those employees.
Yes, we have. And if it works out that way, if we need a position to be filled, if they're interested, we work them through the summer sometimes to see, and then some of them go back off to school, and that's fine too. And we try to make it work some way or another.
Yep, that program's been very successful. Fayetteville Public Utilities also has school visits with community outreach. FPU educates the community and invests in future generations, as we was talking about with the Student Utility Board. But our linemen, along with the Louis Lightning Bug program, Louis Lightning Bug's been around a long time too. And also we have Sniffy, that's for gas, to smell for gas. They have electrical safety programs and local students. We recently visited pre-K students at Lincoln Central Academy, and that's always good. These are little bitty kids, but the linemen do a really good job. Stephen Reese and some of your guys talk to them about the things they do and how they touch the electric wires without getting shocked.
Yeah, it's a good learning experience for the younger group, and we're proud to do that.
You were also with us when we did the Fayetteville-Lincoln County Public Library Truck or Treat, and that was last Thursday. So it was very, very successful. I think we had 270 children come through.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that come through, and it seems like it gets bigger every year. And we might suggest doing something different next year. Of maybe we can get everything set up around the square, maybe and have a trunk or treat or
that's right.
something like that.
That's right. We give out candy, of course, and we give out those little hard hats. It's always good to see the young kids love the little FPU hard hats, and also we give bookmarks out, so that correlates good with the library there. But for the second year, FPU and TAUD is offering a pre-apprentice program for local high school students. You might talk a little bit about that.
Well, we were the guinea pigs last year to try to get it started in the state, and it's my understanding now there is some other utilities looking into it or have done it. And this is our second class this year, and we have a lot of students that's interested in it, and we're glad to offer that for some additional training to see if that's a direction that the students might want to go.
Well, when you think about TAUD, it's basically talking about the water department area, and it's a good opportunity for a career for someone who maybe likes chemistry or likes just clean water, because as you know and as you deal with the Environmental Protection Agency, we also dealt with the Farm Bureau not too long ago about how important it is to take care of the water as it comes in and also the water as it goes out.
That's right, and it has to be just as clean going back out in the river as it is, by the time we get through filtering at the water plant. So with that, talking with Farm Bureau, it was a very good, I think, informational meeting for the Farm Bureau, because, you can get misled on biosolids, and the way that we do it, it meets a Class A biosolid, and it's you have to meet all the regulations that's required by TDEC and EPA.
Yeah. One thing he's talking about is the final product from the sewer goes into, I'm assuming I understood it being a type of a fertilizer that farmers can use.
It is. It goes through a centrifuge, and then we have to mix other, like Keel does, that goes with it, which is like a lime to some degree, and you have some nitrogen in it and all that kind of stuff. And it's good. You might have to double up on what you use to put on the field or whatever to make it as good as fertilizer, but it's a good product. It's just rather not if you won't try to use it.
I say all the time when we talk about the water department and the sewer department, it's probably one of the greenest, environmentally friendly thing that any company can do, because we are very environmentally friendly, when we have to be, and we're regulated by so many people. But it is a very interesting process, and it's very technical.
That it is, and Dwight does a good job out there, and he's got some good folks with Eric Dale and Austin and them, and it really pays off, and we got to get those folks trained and brought up, and that's another one of those groups that you'll have some folks retiring, and we got to be sure we have somebody in place to take that position.
And hopefully this pre-apprentice program will get people interested in wanting to do that. As it gets colder, we hadn't had a lot of cold yet, but we are expecting some, so we want to tell our public about our budget billing program. Budget billing kind of keeps the bill level, is that correct?
That's what it does, and keeps you from paying a real high bill one month and a real low bill, so if you pay that average, and then it all works out to 10.
And then there's also programs to help you too, like Project Help. FPU partners with Good Samaritan. Again, not only with just the food, we also do with energy or electric assistance, where you can help them with their bills.
Yes, and you can call other organizations that would give you help. You just have to find out who they are. But if you want to call here and get the list of the names, we can give you the folks that does help out on any kind of power bill, water bill, gas bill, whatever it may be.
That's right. You can call here at 433-1522, or you can call Good Samaritan to see if you qualify for some of these things, 433-0260, or you can go by there in person. It's where you early vote at 208 Davison Street. They're open Monday through Wednesday from 9 until noon. LIHEAP is another program that's called Low Energy Home Energy Assistance Program. It helps the elderly, handicapped, or low income, and that is through South Central Human Resource Agency, and this is a good program. I know y'all work hand in hand with them. Their number is 433-7182, and that's a program I know that helps a lot of people. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, I know every morning we talk about what all's going on. Some things are way over my head, but there's a lot of maintenance and a lot of upgrades that you're having to do. We talked a little bit this morning about some of the substations, and some of that stuff has been in there longer than you've been here. What I'm saying is, and that's almost 50 years, by the way, but what I'm saying is this, the grid is all aging, but the equipment lasts for a long time. We've been very lucky.
The equipment does last for a long time, but at the same time, you have to maintain and replace as you go along.
Right.
And that's the reason we have capital work plan projects to get that done. We changed out 36 insulators yesterday at 46 kV at the Kelso substation that, they're old brown insulators. The cap freezes. They bust off, fall, and those kinds of things. And we're trying to get as much of that done. We're actually going through the steps now and getting prepared for the winter. Yeah. I mean, you're still going to have things to happen. Things are still going to break, especially when I talk about switches. Some's going to open, some's not going to open, the way they freeze sometimes. But, we got it where we can switch a lot of different loads if everything works correctly. And but we're going through the process now the best that we can to be sure that we're going to try to be as prepared as we can be.
And one thing I hear y'all talking about, you and Kim talking about how long it takes to get certain products in here. So if something breaks, you got to be thinking ahead, because you just don't get it tomorrow. It don't come back in.
No, it doesn't. And, it brings up that's just like traffic lights. You think traffic lights, everybody's got pieces for traffic lights, but we're ordering a piece now that, it's 18-week delivery, because we're going to be doing some work on the traffic light, especially at the River Bridge. We're going to have that traffic light out here pretty soon. Might be next week or the next week, but it's going to cause traffic confusion, and it's going to be tough. But the only way you can fix it, we got to replace that entire cabinet that sits over there in that parking lot beside the Patrick. It was hit by a car. It's done damage, and we're going to have to replace it. And there's never a good time to replace a traffic light cabinet. With all the traffic, but we're going to try to do it at a time, try to get it done as quick as we can get it done, but it's going to cause confusion out there at the River Bridge traffic light.
And I guess you'd have to have police officers there, and they're already probably short-handed, so it's kind of difficult to tie them up, but it's going to take some time.
It's going to take some time.
Yep, and those things are so important. People don't think about us being involved in that. But if there's a traffic light problem, that's something we have to be available to fix at any moment. And there again, you got to have the parts and stuff to do it. And you also mentioned how long it takes to get transformers and all these things. The lead times are way out there, and the unbelievable cost. Every time I hear those numbers, it's just I don't know how you have enough money to cover all.
Yeah, the cost keeps going up, and especially now, with all the hurricanes that we've had here recently, the materials. When you have something like that, like where we've been with all the damage, you have to keep pushing materials and supplies up there to these people.
Yeah.
And like down south too in Florida, a lot of them use the same vendors we use.
Right.
And so you start coming up short of material, and you try to do the best you can of trying to get in and keeping an eye on the material that we have in supply, that we can get it in here quick enough to get it done. But it don't always work that way, but we're ahead of it. I hope at this time, as far as I know, that we're way ahead on some materials and supplies as far as transformers. But, if you have something bad happen, it could wipe you out pretty quick.
Yeah, when we have small things happen, the car hit a pole, there's so much infrastructure on the pole. It takes a while to get everything done, not to mention the cost involved and having the materials to put it back, something you hadn't planned on actually replacing. But
Right.
You never know when you have to replace.
You never know.
Yeah, and so having that ready available, and not to mention the fact you have a weekend call or whatever, then guys got to come in on overtime, and calculating that and understanding. People don't understand what all is involved in that kind of thing, but it's very important, and proud somebody's able to keep up with all that.
Well, when you start looking at it, and like the guys when they go up there and work, and we all know that that's in the business, but you got people that's been out of power for better than a month now.
Oh, wow.
And they're still going to be without power for another month.
Yeah.
And possibly another month. And, when we have a power outage here, it's not something that we like and don't want. And, but when we're out an hour or 2 hours, and it makes you appreciate how fast your services are restored, or the way that we do work and able to get it on as quick as we get it on, even though if it is a 3 hour, if it's a half a day.
Right.
But we don't like it no more than anybody else. And a lot of times, it's not a fault of our own. It's either a car wreck, could be a bird, could be a buzzard, could be a squirrel. All those things happen. We don't just go out and turn the lights off to have a power outage.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always a cause. And, we react pretty quick.
And as you say, we work it hot most of the time, so if it's off, there's something wrong. But one thing, too, is we want to try to tell people if you have a power outage, we still want you to call. There's ways you can look it up, like Smart Hub or on our website, to look at our outage management. But we want you to call and just let us know. No need to go into Facebook about it, just to complain, because we probably don't know. We probably know it, but if we don't know it, we'd like for you to call us and let us know. All right, so Veterans Day is coming up next Monday. We will be off that day in support of the veterans. Also, Thanksgiving holiday is coming up November the 28th and the 29th, so we will be closed that day. But another program I know you're really proud of, we have some great dispatchers, and we have good crews, standby. You have people on standby all the time, or ready to go when we are closed. So we're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we want you to call us if you have any problems.
Right, and be looking out for us next week. We'll be hanging Christmas decorations on Wednesday.
Okay.
And you got the host coming in here, with the chamber support and the city. And, it's always a big event for Fayetteville, Lincoln County. A lot of people come in. But we'll be out there working on the side of the streets. We're going to try to start early to get out of the way on the square. Hopefully that we can get all that done. But, again, just remind everybody that the host is coming, and come out and have a good time.
Absolutely. FPU is thankful for our customers, and we wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll be back in here next month to tell you more about what's going on here at FPU. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Don Counts with our CEO, General Manager. We'll see you back in here next month.